Well, I was doing these drawings as, of course, my love letter to these shows, and I was very fascinated with all the different aspects of the shows. And the reason why I did these drawings was I wanted to be my family. And if I could do enough information about these people, they could become my family. And I had a childhood that was not considered very homey. So I would look at the Anderson family from Father Knows Best, and I would say, that's where I want to be. If I could be that fourth child in that family. So you get their license numbers and their phone numbers and their street address and how many bedrooms they have and what kind of sheets they put on their beds, and you could find out all this information just by watching the show. I mean, Emily and Bob Hartley had Bill Blass sheets. You put all this information on a blueprint. The blueprint was kind of like the most detailed information you could get on someone's abode, like looking in a woman's handbag. You find out about somebody by looking down into their house, and if you had enough information, then I could consider them mine.
Lots of American kids watch too much television. Mark Bennett may be the only one who turned his obsession into an art form. Growing up gay in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Mark escaped into the well-ordered world of the television sitcom. Mark charted the intricate details of TV family life. Working without the benefit of a VCR, he drew each floor plan, show by show, until there were 53 different drawings.
That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch. That's the way.
TV life was easy. Everybody acted happy.
I did these drawings since I was 11, and I would sit in front of the TV on my stomach with an album cover, because we didn't have a desk at our house. We had album covers. I'd take an album cover, pencil, and IBM paper my father brought home from his office, throwaway paper, and I would draw these houses. And the first one was Lita to Beaver's Pine Avenue house, which is the one they moved to from Grant Avenue. They also changed networks, but in like '59 they moved to Pine Avenue, and Ward's job was getting a little bit better, and of course June never worked.
I got my shoes on.
Oh. That was the first house, because Mayfield, to me, they went out of their way to create this image of this winding street, sidewalk, street light, kind of cop with white gloves at the traffic stop, all new gleaming cars. The streets were always hosed down. And Wally and Beaver just seemed to have it all, in my opinion. The only problem is that I'd gotten so wrapped up in Wally Cleaver and that whole scenario that my life, if I were to drown, would not pass before my eyes. Wally Cleaver's life would pass before my eyes. Because I was always thinking, what would he do in a situation like a prom? Because I didn't go to the prom. But I watched Wally go, and he took Mary Ellen Rogers, and it was all fabulous. But I never got it. See, living in fantasy doesn't get you very far. I mean, it doesn't help in a job interview that you know that Fred Mertz is from Steubenville, Ohio. But to me, it's safe. It's almost spiritual to see June Cleaver chopping up egg salad sandwiches on white bread for the family. During commercial breaks, you take a pencil and you grab an envelope or the back of a matchbook cover, whatever, and you write down the information that you need.
Hello, I'd like you to send a cab to 623 East 68th Street.
And you throw it into an envelope, bigger envelope, where you store them enough that you have enough information where you can actually feel comfortable about doing a formal drawing. Some of the drawings took 11 times to get to the one I really liked. Also, plus every season they would change something about the house. Okay, now you're like, oh my gosh, this is an ink. Do I have to do it over? Can I keep it just the way it is? My rule was to go with the first season, preferably the first 3 episodes, because that really solidified where they were coming from as far as the set and what they were about and where they were from and what they wore. You didn't get that 10 episodes down the road that June Cleaver was from East St. Louis or that Ward was from Shaker Heights. You zero in on the episodes that showed the most about the houses. And even when the Brady Bunch went to Hawaii, I'd turn it off because they weren't at home on Clifton Way. You know, I had to be part of their house and that whole domestic day-to-day thing. I always thought all you needed for Perfect Life was a sitcom living room. See, the camera would be over there. And I arranged the furniture so that the camera would set, set up the situation where you live a sitcom life. Or you have the perfect clothes. And that's all you need. The image is everything.
The Dick Van Dyke Show.
Comes in here, and then he tripped over this ottoman. And then they had that living dining combo. I always thought this was fascinating with that built-in couch.
Larry Matthews. And
Living the sitcom life is harder than it looks, and Mark really tried. He moved to New York and went to art school, but somehow his big break never materialized. Then he got a job with the post office and moved to LA's most famous suburb, the Valley. He even got married. By 1992, after completing a floor plan of the Golden Girls, Mark quit watching TV altogether. It just didn't matter anymore.
Fast forward, I had a drinking problem. I got sober. Living in the Valley, I got divorced, and was in a really financial bind, and I had given up on it. I had put him in a couple of these Laguna Beach shows in the park and Beverly Hills Art in the park, and they kicked me out. I couldn't sell them for $10, and 3 years after that, I just said, oh my gosh, if I could just get some money, pay my visa bill, I'm going to move to Arizona and change my name to Mark Martinez.
In 1995, a Silver Lake restaurant offered Mark a chance to show his work. He looked at it as a sort of an art garage sale.
I did put a plaque on the wall like Lucy and Ethel did when they were trying to sell Aunt Martha salad dressing that said, if you want to buy one of these, call Circle 7 or my address. And this man called me 2 days later, and I wasn't interested. And it was Christopher Ford of the Markmore Gallery, who is the curator of the Markmore Gallery, and he said, I want to give you a show. And I said, no, you don't. You want to buy one. They're $20. You just tell me which one you want. There are 53 different drawings. You just tell me which one you want, and I will send it to you. Rolled in an architectural tube, and you just send me a check. Because I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want to meet anybody, because I'd been down this road of promises and broken promises all these years. And he said, can I meet you? And I said, if you come over, I'm going to have to take a bath. And I don't want to do that. I mean, I'm tired, real tired. And Christopher came over, and I remember my mother always said, in her best Southern tradition, make sure you always have something in the house to feed people when they come over. And I sounded really crazy on the phone, because here was an opportunity of an artist's lifetime to be offered a show at a prestigious gallery. And I remember calling Louise's. I ordered a barbecue chicken chopped salad and a container of iced tea. It comes in like a milk container, it's real cute. And I put it on a plate so it looks like I made it. And he walked in the door and I handed it to him. And I said, nice to meet you. And he said, that was the first time I knew that you weren't crazy. That you, even in the midst of whatever was going on in your life, that you knew instinctively to feed people when they come in your house, or at least be hospitable. So he invited me to his gallery, and I went there. And I expected to see a storefront, probably in Venice, with an electric fan in the window with lots of extension cords. And I walk into this huge loft space with white walls and 20-foot ceilings and concrete floors and $35,000 paintings on the wall. And we're showing Vernon Fisher. I remember it was so profound to see $35,000 paintings on the wall, and they were asking me to come and join their stable. And I told Christopher, I don't fit in here. He said, yes, you do. I'll be the judge of that. And it still makes me cry to think, because I had gotten so low in my beliefs that this was art. Because, see, I used to think it was art. And then slowly over time, you're worn down, because I was always in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I didn't fit. And that's the way I've always lived my life. Not so much the rebel, it just seems that things seem to fall into my lap that some people would say was a jinx. But in reality, it was just I was not in the right stable of people. But the truth was, I never did gravitate towards other artists. I didn't have a loft downtown. I never, even in New York City, I always tried to maintain this air of responsibility and do your job and show up on time. And maybe that was my problem. I wasn't as capricious as other people. I couldn't do it like other people did, which was live in the East Village and, you know, sew your own clothes, and I never was that way.
But this story has a happy ending. The first exhibition of the blueprints at the Markmore Gallery sold out. Viacom paid $10,000 for a complete portfolio. So did Bill Gates. Those drawings are worth 3 times that now. Mark's work has been profiled in art journals and the popular press.
You also know where Donna Reed's son, Jeff, kept his bows and arrows, and you know the phone number of Wilbur Post, of course, the owner of Mr. Ed.
Yes.
Mark, what up with you? How do you know all these things? And can you recite the phone number?
Poplar 9 7369.
40 drawings were published in a book.
There's a new book out called TV Sets, not the kind you watch, but the TV sets that are done, the shows are done on. They are fictional floor plans that are carefully researched blueprints of these make-believe houses.
America's enduring love for vintage television has contributed to the blueprint's popularity. Today, a drawing that sold for $20 at the Cobalt Cantina is worth more than $6,000.
It's amazing to me that people in different areas of the country only want certain drawings. For example, if you live in San Francisco, you want Addams Family. If you live in New York, you don't want Addams Family, you want the Munsters.
Herman, I heard about a new TV dinner today. How does that sound to you?
Sounds okay. TV dinner. But wouldn't the dials and the tubes be pretty lumpy?
Both ghoulish families, but the regional parameters there, they do not cross. I think it's very strange. Women like Gilligan's Island, gay people like Bewitched. It's interesting to see how this all comes about, what they want.
Mark's work has been exhibited at galleries and museums around the world, including the Corcoran Gallery in Washington, D.C.
It's very similar, I think, in some ways, to what an artist like Andy Warhol did with soup cans.
Mark is an atypical fan. He has little interest in the lives of actors or the behind-the-scenes details of television production.
When this all hit, people said, you've got to go to Warner Brothers backlot because those houses that you love so much are there. Because I've been looking for them for 10 years. I didn't know where they were. I was living in New York or Tennessee at the time. I didn't know. And then I realized that after I remembered what I saw at Leave It to Beaver's house at Universal, it's like not the same, because you can see that it's a facade and there's braces holding it up, and it's just really a fake front. And it's kind of like I'd rather have it in my mind than know about it in reality.
Can you hear me?
Mark recently completed his tiniest house, Jeannie's Bottle, and his largest, a map of the United States for the fugitive, a character who was never really home. The Museum of Modern Art in New York bought that one.
If I hadn't worked on me and gotten sober and been in therapy for 8 years and done all that work, inside work, I never could have tacked them on the wall. I wouldn't even allowed myself to lug them in the back of my car and find a place to put them and hang them and try to sell them.
In spite of all of his success, Mark keeps delivering the mail in Beverly Hills. He's studied the sitcom life long enough to know that even a great show can get canceled.